This is June, everybody, and since this week is on environmental justice, I thought it was appropriate to start with a little creature of the environment. So now you all know my dog June. She is pretty great. She's pretty tired right now, though, because we just went on a long walk. So first, I just want to make a little statement about the shooting in Orlando that happened last night at Pulse nightclub in Orlando. My thoughts are with all of you during this tragedy, and especially with the victims and their families, as well as the shooter's family, who are all mourning right now. I hope that none of you were negatively impacted in a very personal way by this. If you need any help, of course, there's counseling at ASU if you have student health insurance, and I encourage you to reach out to your friends and family to talk about it as well. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of mass shootings in the United States this year, and while this isn't something that we've talked about in the class, I can definitely speak with you about it if you're interested in discussing some of these issues further, and there are plenty of people in the department as well who specialize in this topic. So this week we're learning about environmental justice, and specifically we are going to be discussing the Animas River spill, which happened in Durango, Colorado, almost a year ago. It happened a year ago come August. And we're talking about this spill in regards to environmental justice for a couple of reasons. The first is that it's a really good example of environmental racism, and specifically environmental racism in a way that, while it doesn't meet the legal definition of being intentionally racist, it certainly meets the definition used most often by sociologists that show that a disproportionate negative impact on communities of color come from environmental hazards, regardless of intent. And so this particular river spill disproportionately negatively impacted the Navajo Nation in New Mexico specifically. So Navajo Nation is the largest Indian reservation in the United States. It spans 4 states: Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado, just a little piece of Colorado. And the spill did a lot of damage, and you're going to be reading about that in a couple of the articles that you have. And the second reason that we're focusing on this is actually part of what my dissertation research is on. And so I'm specifically interested in it in a comparative way to show how the application of law ends up being racist regardless of intent. And so I really wanted to tie together some of the ideas we've been talking about with intersectionality, with racism, how racism can work unintentionally, it can be subconscious, in this environmental justice unit. So a good example of this is the comparison between the Animas River spill and the reaction to that, both legally and socially, versus a toxic waste spill in upstate New York, in a rural town called Hoosick. And in Hoosick, New York, the population is predominantly white, though they are impoverished. However, they are still being provided free bottled water at their local grocery stores. Whereas in Navajo Nation, they started a GoFundMe campaign because they were not provided with access to clean, healthy water following the spill. And this was for a lot of different reasons, and we don't have to go into the legal reasons for that because it's not really part of this course. But if you're interested in it, of course, I can send you my research, and I am also going to be posting another presentation that's a bit long that I did for a class last semester about decolonizing the research on this. So I hope you enjoy this unit. I really enjoy talking about environmental justice issues, and specifically in water law in the Southwest. It's a really interesting field, and one that I really didn't expect to be interested in before I went to law school. Just as a quick wrap up to this course, I know that we've talked about a lot of different things, and I hope that you can see in the final assignment how I want you to intertwine them. If you have any questions, I'm going to be posting new office hours for the final week of class after week 5. I'm giving you 4 days to write your final paper, and so I'm happy to look over your papers prior to turning them in. Don't forget that extra credit is due this week as well, and I'll post those Google Hangout hours this next Sunday, so a week from today. And I hope that you've all enjoyed this class, and of course, if you have any questions or concerns, email me.